All right, House of Payne fans, season 13 is off to a great start. I think episode 2 was a tad bit better than episode 1. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because it covered a very serious topic, which I do believe, similar to Calvin trying to reconcile with Laura in terms of the truth about Peanut being the one looking for destiny, aka another date, on his laptop. So, Adjust Your Crown Sis had a very good A and B story. So Hayden and Jaden, which is good to see them not just in more episodes, but having more speaking roles. They are in a situation where CJ and Janine notice on the television that's reporting about their school. And I believe like the accreditation or something like that is either being revoked or simply put the leadership, aka the principal, the administrators and whatnot. There's a lot of scandalous stuff going on, and as a result, the school isn't producing the test scores and whatnot that it used to. And the thing is, the parents know that the twins aren't really forthcoming with that kind of information, so they ask them about, so what's school like? I mean, are you having a good time? Do you feel like you're learning anything? How are the teachers? But it turns out that, it's really boring. Nothing's really happening. They keep reteaching the same thing over and over again due to the rowdy classmates. And it turns out a bunch of their friends slash former classmates were kind of pulled from the school by their parents and sent to another academy. So CJ and Janine look into it, mainly CJ, and he immediately signs them up for it. And at first, Janine is like, come on, why don't we just discuss this first? You just took it upon yourself. But unlike the situation with Miranda and Calvin, where Miranda wanted to put Christian in a more, prestigious academy slash school, it was Calvin that wanted, Christian to stay in his like current, setting, being that he would be surrounded by more students and teachers that look like him. But in that case, I can understand both sides. But in terms of the real world, there really aren't that many black people in terms of powerful positions in the job market. That's not to say there aren't black CEOs and whatnot, but in a predominantly non-black environment, hey, it is what it is. I can count on my fingers how many teachers in grades pre-K to 12 and college that I had that were black. And it's wild. But, Miranda wanted to do what was best in terms of education. And honestly, it's an interesting argument, education versus your surroundings. But I think at the end of the day, your education is actually more important. But that's just me. So from there, CJ and Janine actually have a kind of a debate about it. And Janine's like, well, why don't we do more at the school itself? Like, when's the last time you went to like a parent teacher conference or anything like that? And then it's like, well, between, work and the family CC. And it's like, look, Janine, I get your point, but we're only two people. It would take a lot more than just the two of us starting to do stuff at the school for it to turn around. I mean, there are several hundred kids there. And that's when they decide, okay, well, what we can do now is come up with a plan to prep the kids for an interview for this new academy. So the kids actually want to screw it up. And I love how crafty they are. And they pretty much do. I don't even want to say they screw up the interview, but they say they were just being honest in their very sarcastic way. Talking about their discipline problem, the school is boring, this, that, and the third, and their parents don't know how to handle it. I love how Janine is just ready to snatch up her little girl. But it turns out the school gives them a call, and they were actually impressed by their honesty, being forthcoming about their discipline problem, and they are actually the kind of kids that they want at their school. So it turns out everything worked out the way it was supposed to. And I love how the kids were just like, well, we could just see our friends over the weekend. It's no big deal. And I actually like that. This was a very comedic B plot, and I really did love it. I love seeing things like this in the show. But in terms of the main plot, we had that sneak peek where it turns out Curtis messed up the thermostat trying to fix it. 1 minute it was cold, now it's hot as I don't know what. And I believe Ella's hosting like a ladies club in terms like, I guess from the church and whatnot, or just women in the community coming together talking about stuff. And we're introduced to Regina, who is married to Bobby Brown. I'm just kidding. Bobby, he's one of the main senior deacons at the church. And she talks about how, I'm from Miami and we met at like a wedding. He was, I believe, or, preaching or performing and our eyes met across the dance floor. We had a whirlwind romance, flowers, chocolates, and everything. And my family and friends were like, "Oh man, you're crazy for marrying someone you barely know so fast." And it turns out that once she kind of faints, I guess it was from either the blow to her head that caused the bruise, or because of the heat, because he messed up the thermostat. Curtis notices when he pulls back her hair to kind of check her temperature, that she has a bruise, and she asked Glow and Ella not to say anything about it. But later on, she's helping Ella make some care packages, and then she brings up the fact that I work at the help center, and I'm here to just help anybody who comes in, and I mean, you can come in if you want, to volunteer and whatnot. And then Regina breaks down how the marriage is a nightmare. It's just the fact that one minute he was romantic, but then as soon as I said I do, it turned into hell. He's a bully. He's always throwing the Bible at me like a wife is supposed to be submissive, this, that, and the third. And Ella supports her, saying, like, because at first Regina is skeptical. She doesn't know how to face her family and friends because, they were right. But Ella's like, don't worry about it. You have a strong church family behind you and me to help you along the way. And I like how she's like, well, look, Bobby is a respected deacon and y'all love him and whatnot. So who's going to believe me? And he's like, well, I do. And, right is right and wrong is wrong. So I just love how Ella buckled down and wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right there. So I don't know. I believe we're supposed to meet Bobby in a future episode. I think we are. And that's why I really do applaud this season. It seems like we're going to have these storylines introduced and they'll play out over the course of the season, as opposed to these characters dealing with the same problems over and over and over again. So, like I said before, we might seeing the Laura and Calvin reconciliation in a few episodes. I believe the follow-up to this storyline about the abusive deacon is going to be followed up in another episode. And that's really all I have for you. So let me know your thoughts on House of Payne, Season 13, Episode 2 in the comments below. Like I said, 9 out of 10, pretty solid episode all around. Had a serious, main topic, domestic violence. Then, of course, Jaden and Hayden are always a joy to see. It's just the fact that we're just seeing Hayden, who is... Wait, I think is Hayden the girl, right? Yeah, just basically Jasmine 2.0. So, that's all I have. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're closing in on 285,000 subscribers. And I want you to help me get there. So just hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, because, that helps this video do well in the algorithm. Besides, this is the only show I'm reviewing right now. I'm not really watching Ruthless. Bruh wrapped up last week. The Oval and Sisters and Zatima, up in the air about when those shows are coming back. So you'll get my little episodes reviews for House of Payne. And I don't think they're showing promos anymore. They show the promo, but it's House of Payne and Assisted Living as opposed to separate ones. So I don't really see myself doing trailer breakdowns unless the preview has something very juicy in it.